Morgan Ortagus worked at the State Department under Donald Trump. She joins us tonight to analyze all of this further. Morgan, good to see you. It's obvious there's something between Ukraine and Germany. Delineate it for us.
Yeah, and this has been going on quite some time. I mean, listen, if you look at the 12 years of Angela Merkel's leadership, she was the last German chancellor. This is whenever the relationship from an energy perspective, when Germany became basically totally dependent on Russia. I mean, even today, right, you're still seeing the ruble strengthening, and you're still seeing Germany and other parts of Europe unable to completely wean themselves off or cut themselves off from Russian energy. And so you just talked about Nord Stream 2, Rob. Listen, that's incredibly important that was a very stupid decision, as you said, from the Biden administration to greenlight that. But that became after months of the Germans pressuring Biden to make that decision. So listen, Zelensky needs all of the friends he can get. But I don't think you can blame him for being upset with Germany and looking at them as one of the number one reasons why his country was invaded by Putin.
Yeah, and I love that he called it out, because you know what? That's how we expose these ridiculous foreign policy mistakes that were so obvious. And again, your former boss, this is 4 years ago. This is former President Trump speaking to NATO.
I've been complaining about this from the time I got in. It should have never been allowed to have happened. But Germany is totally controlled by Russia, because they were getting from 60 to 70% of their energy from Russia and a new pipeline. And you tell me if that's appropriate, because I think it's not. And I think it's a very bad thing for NATO, and I don't think it should have happened.
I mean, it really is so amazing. I mean, this is the guy that all of the elites in Washington, the smartest people in the city that runs the country, oh, he's such an idiot, he doesn't know anything. He called this thing 4 years ago, and now we really see who doesn't understand foreign policy, don't we?
Well, you're totally right. I mean, you and I have talked about this on your show. The bottom line is that Putin did not try these actions. He did not invade Ukraine under Donald Trump's watch. And that's because he understands the difference between a strong president and a weak president. Listen, it's not just Russia, even where Germany has been weak. I mean, I remember we were incredibly frustrated in the Trump administration at a moment when we were trying to hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable, when they were responsible for COVID being unleashed on the world. What were the Germans doing? Well, we say Angela Merkel go to China to lead a trade delegation to talk about trade between Germany and the EU and China. And so the problem is that this is my fundamental problem with the way the Biden administration and so many others conduct themselves, Rob, is that they talk very loudly and they hashtag and they say free Ukraine, all of these things. But the policy doesn't actually back it up. No. And in the Trump administration, whenever President Trump said something, whether you agreed with it or not, the whole world knew what he meant. So you can't say that you're trying to defeat, or trying to stop Putin invading, that you're trying to stop Russian aggression, that you're trying to, stem the tide of the influence of the Chinese Communist Party, yet you're doing business with them. Yeah. And so the thing that your viewers should be looking for, Rob, what you and I should be talking about a year from now, I hope you have me on the show in April of 2023, and we're going to see how many of these Western companies have actually stayed out of Russia, or how many of them crept back into doing business as usual.
So true. So true. A feckless White House administration, policy, stuff like that. It leads to nobody really following the lead and nobody doing what's necessary to prevent something like this from happening. Morgan Ortagus. Well said. Good to see you.
Thank you, Rob.